Hey there and welcome. My name is Alicia and I'm so excited to have you here for class today. Today's peak transition is Revolved Half Moon to Revolved Dancer. Um, Moxie's theme this month is all about transitions, so we'll be transitioning from one pose into another, and I'll be guiding us through how to go through these transitions. But of course, as always, take it as far as you can, and if something doesn't feel right, you can always back off. I'd recommend maybe trying to stay in one type of pose and maybe feeling into it before transitioning to the other. Maybe start to play around with your balance and just see if you can do it. If you fall out of it, it's totally okay. Just hop right back in. So when you're ready, join me in a seated position. We'll just take a few moments to start to align with our breath. Maybe close your eyes if you feel safe to do so. Start to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Long, deep inhales and long exhales. Maybe bring your left hand to your heart and your right hand on top of your belly. On your inhales, start to feel the belly fill with air. Hold it at the top. And exhale, open mouth sigh, let it go. We'll do this 2 more times, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Last time at your cycle of breath. And once you finish that breathing, we'll start to move to our Ujjayi breathing. So again, start to breathe in through the nose. Keep the lips sealed and exhale through the nose, trying to make a deep oceanic noise with the back of your throat. We'll do this 2 more times. Breathe in through the nose. Keep the lips sealed and exhale through the nose. One more time. Breathe in through the nose. Slight constriction of the throat. Exhale through the nose. And at the end of your exhale, start to slowly open your eyes. And you've arrived. All right. Meet me in a tabletop position. Place your hands firmly against the mat underneath your shoulders. Spread the fingers out super wide. Hips are stacked over the knees. And we'll start to warm up the spine with a few cat and cows. So drop the belly, roll the shoulder back, start to lift the gaze for cow. And exhale, press the ground away, tuck the tailbone in, gaze toward the navel for cat pose. Inhale, cow pose, drop the belly, roll the shoulders back, start to lift the gaze up. Exhale, cat pose. Press the ground away into all 10 fingers. Gaze towards the navel. Tuck the tailbone in. Do this 1 more time. Move at your cycle of breath. And start to come back to a neutral tabletop position. Curl the toes under and then lift the hips up towards the sky. First downward facing dog of the day. Because this is our first down dog, play around for a moment. Maybe bend one knee at a time. Trying to loosen the hamstrings up. Maybe shake the head yes. And then shake the head no. Start to move through any kinks or any parts of the body that need this extra movement today. Remember to actively ground into all 10 fingertips here, actively squeezing the fingers. Almost imagine that you're clawing the mat with your fingers. And this will activate our Astabandha, our hands lock, and this will help to alleviate some of the pressure that can be on our wrist. We'll be here for 2 more breaths, remembering to try to keep that ujjayi breathing that we practiced earlier. Breathing in through the nose, keep the lips sealed on your exhale, making that deep oceanic noise in the back of our throat by constricting our throat. Wherever you are, start to come back to a neutral down dog position. Start to bend the knees, look towards the front of the mat, slowly walk your hands, slowly walk your feet to meet your hands, and hang heavy here, forward fold. Feet are about hip distance apart, have a nice slight bend in the knees, our hamstrings are still waking up, hang heavy here. A few options here. You can continue to hang heavy to release the low back. You can grab opposite elbows for a ragdoll. Maybe start to sway side to side. Try bending one knee at a time. Shift your weight side to side. Maybe close your eyes if that feels good for you today. The crown of the head is actively reaching towards the floor. Start to come back to center. Hang heavy here. Release the hands towards the mat. And then slowly roll up, stacking one vertebrae at a time. When you get to the top, bring your shoulders up towards your ears and then roll them back down along the spine. Samasthiti. Bring the toes together, heels slightly apart. Start moving through our sun salutation. Inhale, sweep arms overhead, gaze up towards the ceiling. Reach the hands high. Exhale, forward fold. Bring your hands together. Hinge from the hips, slight bend of the knees here. Hang heavy here, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands on your shins, your thighs. Roll the shoulders back, gaze down at the floor. And exhale, bend the knees, place the hands on the mat, and step back to your first high plank of the day. We'll be here just a moment. We'll modify this first sun salutation. Lower the knees down, grip the elbows in towards your sides, and then lower down all the way to your belly. Hands are underneath your shoulders. Inhale, lift the chest up for cobra. Keep your gaze a few inches in front of the mat. Roll the shoulders back. And exhale, lower the chest down. Start to tuck the toes, lift the hips up, and move your weight back to a downward facing dog. We've been here before. Few breaths here. One more breath in through the nose. Keep the lips sealed. Exhale. The end of your next exhale, start to bend the knees, gaze towards the front of the mat, and slowly walk your feet to meet your hands. Hang heavy here, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let it go. Start to ground into the feet. Inhale, sweep arms overhead, gaze up towards the ceiling. And exhale, release your hands by your side. Reset your feet, toes together, heels slightly apart. We'll move through that one more time, a little bit faster. You're always allowed to take the modification if you need it. Inhale, sweep arms overhead, gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring palms together, hinge from the hips, forward fold. Slight bend to the knees here to protect the hamstrings. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, bend the knees, place your hands on the mat, and step back into high plank. Again, you always have the option to modify by lowering your knees down. Just glue the elbows in towards your side, shift your weight forward, lower down halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog, drop the hips, roll the shoulders back, gaze towards the front of the room. Exhale, downward facing dog. Shift the weight towards your heels, lift the hips up towards the sky. Try bending the knees and to lift the hips up a little bit higher. Heels are raised, and then now try to lower the heels towards the ground. Remember to actively grip all 10 fingers into the mat here. We'll take one more breath here, maintaining that ujjayi breathing. Keep the lips sealed on your exhale. The end of your next exhale, start to bend the knees, look towards the front of the mat, step, float, or hop your way up to the front, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, let it go. Inhale, start to ground into the feet, sweep arms overhead, gaze up toward the ceiling, and exhale, release your hands by your side. Take a moment to reset, bring toes together, heels slightly apart. Your next inhale, sweep your hands across the mat, bend the knees super deep, Utkatasana chair pose, shift your weight back into the heels, slight tuck of the tailbone here to protect the low back. Palms are spread open, facing up towards the ceiling. Engage your core. See if you can shift the weight back into the heels. Maybe even try lifting the toes up off the ground. And squeeze the thighs in together. On your next exhale, see if you can sink your weight a little bit deeper. Should feel your glutes firing up, your hamstrings firing up, quads. Super strong here. We'll be here for one more breath. And exhale, bring hands together, forward fold, let it go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bring hands to the mat, step or hop your way back, high plank, and lower down chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. And the next inhale, sweep the right leg up and then stack your hips. Few options here. You can keep your legs stacked, or you can make some circles with the knee. Try to go 3 times counterclockwise, and then 3 times the other way. Try to keep the weight equal in both hands. And once you're done with that, kick the right leg back, toes face down, gaze to the front of the mat, and then step your right foot in between your hands, lower your left knee down. Untuck your left toes, inhale, sweep arms overhead, low crescent lunge. Few options here. You can keep your arms overhead, or you can take your right hand, grab your left wrist, and then bring your left hand over to the right side for a side body stretch. Actively stomp into the right heel of your foot and imagine that you're drawing your right heel in towards the center of the mat. Tuck the tailbone down. Keep the gaze towards the front of the room. And at the end of your next exhale, if you took the bind with your hand, gently release it, and then place the hands down on the mat to frame the right foot. Tuck your left toes, lift the left knee up, keep the left hand on the mat. On your next inhale, sweep the right arm overhead, simple twist, gaze up towards the ceiling. And exhale, place the right hand down to frame the foot, step the right foot back, move through your vinyasa, and meet me in a downward facing dog. On your next inhale, sweep the left leg up, stack your hips. Same options as before. You can choose to stay here, or you can make those circles with the knee. Try to go 3 times clockwise, and then 3 times counterclockwise. Once you're done, kick the left leg back, toes are facing down, look to the front of the mat, step your left foot in between your hands, lower your right knee down, untuck the right toes. Inhale, sweep arms overhead, gaze to the front of the room. And same options before, you can keep arms overhead or take the left hand, grab the right wrist, and bring the right hand over to the left side. At the end of your next exhale, gently release the hands. And then cartwheel the hands down to the mat to frame the left foot. Tuck the right toes, lift the right knee up, Ground to the right hand. Inhale, sweep the left arm up towards the ceiling. Gaze is up towards the ceiling past the hand. Simple twist on the other side. And on your exhale, place the left hand down to frame the left foot. Step the left foot back, move through your vinyasa, and meet me in a downward facing dog. At the end of your next inhale, or at the end of your next exhale, let it go. Your next inhale, sit the left leg up. Pardon me. Your next inhale, lift the right leg up. Lift between your hands, step your right foot in between your hands. This time, keep your left heel lifted. Inhale, sweep arms up overhead, high crescent lunge. Take a few moments here to start to ground into that right foot. It may be helpful to take your hands, place them on your hips, to square your hips to the front of the room. Then once you've found that your hips are square, try lifting your arms overhead. Activate your left hamstring as you sink into your right knee. Take one more breath here. And on your next exhale, pivot the left foot down, open up, warrior two. Arms go out to a T, gaze past your right fingertips, sink into your front knee. Roll the shoulders up towards the knee, and then roll them back down. Strong here. Feel that long line of energy extending from your left fingertips all the way out past to the right fingertips. Take one more breath here. Inhale. And on your next exhale, place your right forearm on top of the right thigh. Sweep the left arm up overhead, extended side angle. Gaze up at the ceiling. You have a few options here. You can choose to stay here. You can take a bind, or a half bind if that's in your practice, or you can take your right hand, place it down on the mat to frame your foot. Be here for one more breath. If you took that bind, start to come out of it. Meet me in an extended side angle. And on your next inhale, sweep your arms back to warrior two. Lift the right palm up to face the ceiling. Shift your weight forward. And then bring the right hand over to the back of the mat, reverse warrior. Place the left hand, can go on the thigh or the calf. One more breath here. And exhale, cartwheel the hand down to the mat. Right hand underneath right shoulder. Keep the left hand lifted. We'll start to transition into our half moon. Start to ground into the right knee. On your next inhale, lift the left leg up. Right hand goes a few inches on the right foot. Gaze to the side of the room. Actively kick with the left heel. And this may be a good opportunity to play around with your balance. Maybe try to lessen some of the weight on your right hand. Play around here. So we're going to start to move to our first transition today. And this will be a half moon to a sugar cane and then to a dancer. And then we'll do the revolved version, which is our peak transition this week. So you can choose to stay here and try to play around with your balance by lifting up off of your right fingertips, or you can start to move to the transition by moving to sugar cane. Bend into your left ankle, or bend into your left knee. Grab your left ankle with your left hand for sugar cane. Start to open up here. Gaze is still at the side of the room. You can choose to stay here or move to dancer. Bend into that right knee and then start to kick into that left foot. Lift the chest up for dancer. Gaze past the right fingertips. Take one more breath here. And exhale, gently let it go. Come back to standing. Shake it out. Great job. Move to the other side. Bring your toes together, heels slightly apart. Inhale, sweep arms overhead. And exhale, hinge forward. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place the hands on the mat, step or hop back, high plank. Move through your chaturanga. Meet me in a downward facing dog. Then we'll do the left side. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Gaze between your hands. Step the left foot in between your hands. Keep the right heel lifted. Inhale, sweep arms overhead, high crescent lunge. Same cues as before. Start to sink into that left knee. Arms overhead, palms facing in towards one another. A slight tug at the tailbone. Start to feel that right hamstring activate. To feel this in your right hip flexor as well. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, pivot the right foot down. Open up, warrior two. Gaze past the left fingertips. Same cue as before. Lift the shoulders up and then roll them back down. Gaze past the left fingertips. Feel that long line of energy extending from left fingertips all the way out to the right fingertips. Maybe see if you can sink a little bit deeper. Engage the core here. At the end of your next exhale, place your left forearm on top of the left thigh. And then sweep your right arm overhead. Gaze up at the ceiling. Extended side angle. Same cues as before. Same option. If you took a bind on the other side, go ahead and take that here. Bind, half bind, whatever feels good. You can also place your left hand down on the mat. Do what feels good in this moment. We'll be here for a few more breaths. If you're taking that bind, actively try to open the chest up to the side of the room. If you took the bind, start to come out of it. Meet me in an extended side angle. Take one more breath all together. Let it go, exhale. Next inhale, start to engage the core. Lift back up, warrior two. Flip the left palm up, shift your weight forward, and then reverse warrior. Right hand can be placed on your calf or your thigh for stability. Left arm goes overhead, gaze up at the ceiling. Remember to keep sinking into the front knee. One more breath. And on your next exhale, cartwheel the hands down towards the mat. Left hand underneath your shoulder. Start to ground into that left foot. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Left hand a few inches in front of the mat. You can place your right hand on your hip. Open the hip up to the side. And then once you're ready, lift the right arm overhead, half moon. Actively kick into that right heel. And again, you can play around with your balance by trying to lift up off of your left hand. You choose to stay here and just play around with your balance, or you can take a sugar cane, bend into your right knee, use your right hand to grab your right ankle or your right foot. For sugar cane, you can stay here, or you can start to move to our transition again, dancer's pose, bend into that left knee, start to lighten up on your left hand, kick into your right foot into your right hand, and then lift up for a dancer. And if you fall out of it, just shake it off. Try again. All right. Meet me at the front of the mat. Shake it out. Reset. Toes together, heels slightly apart. Next inhale, sweep arms overhead, gaze up at the ceiling. Exhale, bring hands forward, hinge from the hips, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place the hands on the mat, bend the knees, step or hop back to your chaturanga. Keep your elbows bent, lower down, move through your vinyasa. Meet me in a downward facing dog. Pivot the left foot down, lift the right leg up, gaze to the front of the mat, and step your right foot up towards the mat, towards your hand. Inhale, sweep arms overhead for warrior one. You can bring your hands, keep them separate, or you can keep your palms together. Slight tuck of the tailbone here. Try to square your hips to the front of the room. Gaze up at the ceiling if that feels okay on your neck. Remember to keep sinking into that front knee. Gently release the hands behind the back, straighten the front leg. You can, a few options here. You can try to do the reverse pyramid, hands together behind the back, or if it doesn't feel good, you can grab opposite elbows. Whatever you choose today, do what feels good for you. Moving to triangle pose. Take a big breath here. Inhale. Exhale, start to hinge your weight forward. Slight micro bend in the front knee. Gaze at your big toe. Slight tuck of the chin here. Keep it nice and long. At the end of your next exhale, place the left hand down at the mat underneath your shoulder. This is one version of the pose. The full expression is by placing the hand to the pinky side of the foot, but that can be quite intense, so I would recommend placing it underneath your shoulder. And then start to lift the right arm up towards the ceiling for revolved triangle. Gaze up at the ceiling. If something that helps is tensing up on your fingers for a little bit of height, this is also a great opportunity to use a block because this pose can be quite intense. One more breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Start to bend into that front knee. Move the left hand a few inches in front and then lift the left leg up for revolved half moon. Now we're moving over to the revolved version of this, and this will be our peak transition this week. Again, you can choose to stay here, maybe play around with your palms by lifting off of your left hand, or you can move to revolved sugarcane. Start to bend into that left knee, grab your ankle with your right hand, capture it, and then maybe play around with your balance here. If that feels good, start to move to Revolved Dancer. So start to bend into that right leg. Once you're ready, kick your right foot into your left foot into your right hand. And on your next inhale, start to lift up to Revolved Dancer. Gaze past your left fingertips. And exhale, gently let it go. Shake it out. That is, it's quite intense. You can bring your arms side to side. It's quite a deep twist. And twists are very detoxifying for the body. They help twist the internal organs. It helps us squeeze things out. Really great. And we're also getting that added challenge of the balance. So it's quite a lot of things going on. So don't beat yourself up if you can't get it on the first time. Start to move to the other side. So bring your toes together, heels slightly apart. Inhale, sweep arms overhead. Knees up towards the ceiling. Big stretch here. Exhale, bring your hands together. Slight bend at the knees. Hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, place the hands on the mat. You know what we're going to do. Step up, jump back, chaturanga. Lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Move over to the other side. All right. Pivot your right foot down. Look to the front of the mat. Step your left foot as far as you can. You're probably not going to reach your hands. That's okay. We shorten our distance for pyramid or for warrior one here. So once you're ready, inhale, sweep arms overhead. Warrior one. Start to square the hips to the front of the room. You can also take your hands, place them on your hips. Try to square them here. Then bend into that left knee. Try to actively press into the knife edge with the right foot. Sweep arms overhead. Gaze up at the ceiling. That feels good on your neck. You can also bring your hands together. Your next exhale, gently release the hands. Again, a few options here. You can grab opposite elbow, or you can do reverse prayer. Straighten the left leg. Take a big breath here. Inhale. Exhale, hinge forward, slight bend of the left knee to protect the hamstring, gaze with the big toe. Slight tuck of the chin here to keep the neck nice and long. Pyramid pose. Maintaining that ujjayi breathing. Inhaling through the nose, keep the lips sealed on your exhales. Your next exhale, gently release the hands. Place your right hand underneath your shoulder. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Revolve triangle, gaze about the ceiling. Again, you have the option to place your hand on the pinky side, but that is quite intense. If you have a block, that could be helpful. You can also tense up on your fingertips for a little bit more height, that can help the twist here as well. Take one more breath here. Inhale and exhale. Start to bend into that front knee. Walk your right fingertips a few inches in front, and then lift your right leg up. Revolved half moon. Gaze to the side of the room. Right toes are facing down towards the mat. You can choose to stay here. You can also play around with your balance. Same options as before. You can choose to stay here or move to sugarcane. Bend into your right ankle. Grab your ankle with your left hand. Kick your right foot into the hand for that nice stretch here. And again, we'll start to move to our dancer. So start to lighten up on the right hand. And then once you're ready, start to lift the chest up. Gaze past the right fingertips. And of course, the wind is coming while this is happening. It makes it a little bit challenging. I don't think I'm going to get this side. That's okay. Shake it up. Oh, the joys of doing yoga outside. Alright, let's reset. Bring toes together, heels slightly apart. Inhale, sweep arms overhead. Exhale, let it go. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place the hands on the mat. Step or hop back to your high plank position. Using your vinyasa. Meet me in a downward facing dog. Just to rinse out that last sequence. We'll take a few breaths here. You can grab some water if you need it. You can also take a child's pose. We did a lot of work so far. We're about halfway through class today. If you're keeping into that down dog, maybe take a moment to notice how this down dog feels compared to the first one we took today. If you took a break, start to meet me in a down dog. We'll be here for one more breath. Your next inhale, sweep the right leg up, gaze toward the front of the room. Step your right foot in between your hands. And then pivot your left foot down. And then turn your right foot forward. Lift up to wide-legged forward fold. I'm going to turn this way to face you guys. So our feet are open about 3 feet apart, 3 or 4 feet apart, depending on how their flexibility. Turn your toes to face in, heels be slightly apart. Place your hands on your hip. Take a big breath here. Inhale. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Wide-legged forward fold. You can also toe heel your feet a little bit wider if that feels good for you. You can also place your hands on the mat. We'll just take a few breaths here. You can start to shift your weight forward and back. Should feel nice. Remember to actively ground into the knife side, the pinky side of your feet. Really squeeze in there. All right. Start to activate that core. Place your hands back on your hips. And your next inhale, lift back up. Now stay here. Interlace your fingers behind your back. We'll do that one more time, but now with the shoulder opener. Take a big breath here. Inhale. Exhale, dive forward. Release the hands overhead. Just feel really nice on the shoulders here. You try bending one knee at a time to move a little bit deeper. Maybe sway the hand side to side to continue opening the shoulders up. If that doesn't feel good, you can always just stay static. Gently release the hands down towards the mat, and then toe heel your feet a little bit wider, as wide as feels good for you today for lateral splits. Choose to stay here, tent it up on your fingers, or you can lower down to the forearms. Maybe try shifting your weight side or forward and back. We'll be here just for a few moments, just getting that nice inner hip stretch here. And then start to place the hands underneath the shoulders. You lower down your forearms, and then toes of your feet back to centers until they're underneath your shoulders. And then slowly roll up back to a standing position, and then turn to the front of the room. Meet me in a Malasana. So feet go out about hip distance or about mat distance apart. Your toes are now facing out, and then shift your weight back, bend into your knees for Malasana. Keep the spine nice and straight, lifting up. You can also place your elbows into your inner thighs. Gently press away, or yogi squat. Maybe shift side to side. Again, just a nice inner thigh stretch here. And then once you're ready, we'll start to workshop the asana a little bit. This is one of my favorite arm balances. It's a really great arm balances where we can learn how to shift our weight into our hands. So once you're ready, place your hands on the mat. Lift the hips up. Start to ground into all five fingers. Your pointer fingers should be facing straight ahead. And then lift up onto the toes. Your heels are lifted. And the goal here is place your knees onto your triceps. And then start to shift your way a little bit forward. This is level one. This might be enough for you. You can just start to shift your way forward and back. And then trying to place the knees on the triceps. And then shifting the way back. Level two, again, lifting up the heels up, place the knees on the triceps, shift your weight forward, and then try lifting one foot off the ground at a time. And then lower back down. Level three is lifting both feet up off the ground for a full Vipassana. What's really helpful here is try to keep your gaze towards the front of the mat. This will prevent you from, if you keep your gaze in between your hands, that might cause you to roll forward. So gazing ahead will not only keep your neck nice and long, but it'll also prevent you from diving forward. If this is too scary, again, just try to stay in that level one. That is just to start to understand how it feels to put your balance into your hands. If you want to start to move to the full Vipassana, ground into all 10 fingers, lift the heels up, place the knees into the triceps, start to shift your way forward, lift one foot up, lift the other foot up, and then you can lower down, or you can choose to stay here, and then shoot back into chaturanga, and then lower back down. You can rinse it out with the vinyasa, if that feels good. Meet me in a downward facing dog. However you want to get there today, it's up to you. Great job. Gaze to the front of the mat, bend the knees, lift between your hands, and then step, hop, or jump your way up to the front. Knees meet your hands, and then sit back. We'll start to shift to a boat pose. A little core warm up here. So for boat, lift. We're going to shift our weight back. Lift the legs up. You can grab the back of your thighs. You can also place your hands forward, depending on how that feels for you today. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can straighten your legs. Active engagement of the core here. Wherever you are, hold it here. You straighten your legs, start to come back to regular boat. Start to move to our toe taps, maybe back in a boat, and then lower one foot down at a time. Do two more on each side, maybe back in boat, and lower the legs down. Grab the back of your thighs, and lower down all the way. Bring your knees into your chest and gently sway side to side. This will help to release the low back. Maybe close your eyes if that feels good for you today. We'll be here for just one more moment. And then start to come back to center. Squeeze your knees in towards your chest and then rock forward and back. And on your third time, stay at the top and then lower the feet down to the mat. Grab the back of your thighs, lower all the way down. This time keep your knees bent, setting up for bridge pose. Place the hands flat on the mat, almost try to graze the back of your heels with your hands. Your feet are about hip distance apart. On your next inhale, tuck the tailbone in so you're pressing your lower back in towards the mat. There should be no air in between there. On your exhale, lift the hips up towards the sky. Bridge. Keep the gaze up at the ceiling. Gaze is neutral. Use your glute strength and your hamstring strength to lift your hips up a little bit higher. Maintain that ujjayi breathing. You can choose to stay here or try to keep your hips level and then lift one foot up off the ground at a time for bridge marches. You can ground into the hands for a little bit more stability. Our goal here is to keep our hips nice and level though, so don't move too fast. It's more important to go nice and slow while keeping the hips level than to move quickly. We'll do one more on each side and then we'll meet back in bridge. One more breath. And exhale, slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time. Bring the knees into the chest and gently sway side to side. We'll do that one more time. You can choose to stay in bridge, do those bridge marches. If wheel is in your practice, you can choose to take that. I would not recommend doing wheel unless you're nice and warmed up. Start to lower the knees back down, lower the feet back down. Same setup, try to graze the back of your heels, feet about hip distance apart. Next inhale, tuck the tailbone in. Exhale, lift the hips up towards the sky. If wheels in your practice, you can take a wheel, placing your hands by your ears, your fingertips facing in towards your shoulders, and then lift up. If you took wheel, start to tuck your chin in, slowly lower down, one vertebrae at a time. Took bridge, start to lower back down. And then we'll reset by bringing the knees in towards the chest and gently swaying side to side. Do that a few times. Great job. All right. Start to again. Squeeze the knees into the chest. We're going to rock and roll until we're back in the seated position. And then once we're here, open the legs out wide to the sides of the mat. Turn to one side of the room, preferably the one facing the camera or your computer. Setting up for Upavishta Konasana, so your toes are facing up. Open your feet about as wide as feels comfortable for you. Take a big breath here. Spine is nice and straight. Exhale, start to walk your hands forward. Keep the spine nice and long. Gaze down. Keep the neck nice and long so your gaze is a few inches in front. Start to feel any pain or discomfort in the leg. Maybe shorten your stance. And your exhales, maybe walk your hands a little bit further. And then slowly walk your hands back to center. And then bend your right knee. Place your right foot into your left thigh, setting up a revolved head to knee. Place your left forearm down on the inner part of your left calf. And on your next inhale, sweep your right arm overhead, gaze up at the ceiling. Have a nice little side body twist here. Side body stretch rather, not so much of a twist. So the fullest expression of this pose is taking your peace fingers and grabbing your big toe. That can be a little intense, especially if you're new to this. So what you can just like sweep your arm over to the left side and you'll still get all the benefits of stretching out. If you want to grab the toe, what's really important here is that you continue to open up the chest to the side of the room so you're not facing down, you're really opening up to the side. Let's take one more breath here, exhale, start to come back, engage the core. We'll switch sides, extend the right leg long, bend the left knee, place the left arch of the foot into the left thigh, and then your right forearm goes down on your inner right calf, and then sweep your left arm up overhead, sweeping over to the right side. Gaze up at the again. You can try to grab your big toe with your peace fingers, hold it up to the side. That feels good. That's so good. You're kind of leaning forward, just gently release. You also get all the benefits. It's actually better if you don't try to grab your toe and you're punching forward. It's much better just to reach the side than to try to force the position that you're not ready yet for. Let's take one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, gently release, engage the core. Start to move to our cool down. Extend both feet long. Grab the back of your thighs. Slowly roll down all the way. Extend your left foot long, right leg up overhead. You can interlace your fingers behind your thigh. You can stay here, or you can start to walk your hands towards your ankle or up towards your calf. Start to try to draw your right foot towards your face. But don't do it so it's painful, just have that nice stretch here. You could try playing around with both pointing and flexing your feet. Start to notice where that sensation in the body feels. Should feel really nice here. And then gently release. We'll switch sides. Next inhale, lift the left leg up and release the fingers behind the left thigh. You can choose to stay here, or you can start to walk the hands towards the calf or the ankle, whatever feels good. Try to point and flex the toes. Start to notice if that brings up any sort of different sensations in the body. And then gently release down. Bend your right foot, or bend your right knee, place your right foot on the ground. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Place your left ankle on top of your right thigh for supine figure four. You can place your left foot, or your left hand rather, press it against your left thigh, your left knee, sorry. Or you can interlace your fingers behind your right thigh or the front of your right shin for a deeper stretch. Actively flex your feet. This will give a little bit more sensation to that left glute. You can choose to stay static or you can gently sway side to side. It should feel really nice. Maybe close your eyes as we're nearing the end of our practice here today. And gently release, lower down, switch sides. Left foot goes down the mat, knee is bent. Place your right ankle on top of the left thigh. And then same options as before. You can either take your right hand and gently press away the right knee, or you can interlace your fingers behind your left thigh or the front of your left shin Remember to actively flex your feet. Maybe stay static, or you can try gently swaying side to side. And your next exhale, gently release the foot down towards the mat, both feet down towards the mat. Squeeze your knees in together. Open your arms out to a T or a cactus if you don't have the space. Press into the heels, lift the hips up, place them 3 inches over to the right, and then gently let your knees fall to the left side. Gaze past your right shoulder, supine twist. Continue to breathe here. You can maybe start to have the open mouth exhale for deeper breathing. Maybe close the eyes if you feel safe to do so. And inhale, start to lift the knees back to center. Press into the heels, lift the hips up 3 inches over to the left side, and then let your knees fall to the right. Gaze past your left shoulder. Again, you have the option to close your eyes. We have just a few more poses. We're going to move to Happy Baby, and then you have an optional closing inversion of your choice, and then Savasana. Your next inhale, start to bring the knees back to center. Bring the knees in towards your chest. Grab the outside of your feet, pinky side for Happy Baby. You can choose to stay here. You can gently rock side to side. You're trying to bring your knees towards your armpits. For really nice. If you sway side to side, you also get the bonus of a little back massage here, a little spine massage. It feels really nice. So our next pose is an optional closing inversion. There's a few options. You can do legs up the wall, which is always really nice. And by doing that, or to do that rather, you bring your bum as close as you can to the wall, and then you lift your legs up, and then you just gently bring your legs overhead. You can stay there. You can open your legs up to a V. You also get the added bonus of that inner thigh stretch. You can do a shoulder stand. You can do plow. If you're working on any sort of handstand variation, you can take that as well. Choice is up to you. If that doesn't sound good for you today, you can always take an early Shavasana. It's your choice. Start to come out of our Happy Baby. Gently release your feet. Bring your knees down. Your choice for closing inversion. I am going to take legs up the wall. We just have a few minutes here. So to do that, again, you're going to bring your bum as close as you can to the wall, and then bring your feet up. And you can stay here. And inversions are really wonderful because they allow us to drain the blood away or towards the heart rather than away from the heart, as the heart is always pumping the blood. And this does the opposite movement. So it's really great to just kind of counterbalance this. I've also heard that it helps to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is really useful. It's really helpful for our brain to signify that we're moving towards a resting state rather than an active state. We'll take 2 more breaths here. So all my head stand and handstand folks start to come back down. If you chose another inversion, start to come back down. Legs up the wall. Slowly start to lean over to the side. You can bend your legs. And then we'll move to Shavasana. however you want to get there today. Extend your legs nice and long, and then gently roll all the way down. You can take a traditional Savasana by keeping your legs extended long, palms face up, or you can try bringing your feet together and opening your knees off to the side for another variation. Whatever you may choose today, the choice is yours. I'll wake you up when you're ready. This time is yours, Shavasana. Start to wiggle the toes, start to wiggle the fingers. Maybe make some circles with your ankles, some circles with your wrists. Start to bring some movement back into the body. Extend the arms overhead, our final stretch today. Make it as big as you can. And then gently release. Roll over towards your favorite side. Maybe try to keep the eyes closed if you can. Move towards a seated position. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for your continued support of Foxy. Again, my name is Alicia. I teach every Sunday, 8:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. Looking forward to seeing you in class. Thank you. Namaste.